What is happening to the A-10 in modern combat environments? Its old airframe, even though it was made in the 1970s, still holds benefits to the United States Air Force even today in 2026 as of this video. However, recent speculations related to the modern 21st century conflicts have opposed this statement, as there was recent footage of it being shot down over the Persian Gulf. Now, is this justified as a conclusive element for the A-10 to be retired, or not? Well, the A-10 Thunderbolt II has been in service for over 4 decades, since 1977, and was mainly developed by the US to serve as an aircraft to engage with Soviet armour and still survive. After World War II, the US heavily stagnated in terms of attack aircraft, as design efforts for tactical aircraft focused on the delivery of nuclear weapons using high-speed airframes, such as the F-105 Thunderchief or the F-101 Voodoo. Well, when the US entered the Vietnam War, its main attack aircraft was the Douglas A-1 Skyraider, which was also a Korean War-era attack aircraft. The A-1 Skyraider was a capable aircraft for its own era. It had a very large payload and a very large flight time. The issue was, it was a propeller-driven airframe and had become relatively outdated, vulnerable, and easier to shoot out of the sky, as the North Vietnamese People's Army deployed high-caliber anti-aircraft artillery. So, the A-1 being that vulnerable, it prompted the development of a specialised aircraft. So on the 7th of June 1961, the US Defense Secretary Robert McNamara ordered the US Air Force to develop a new ground tactical aircraft. They requested 2 designs, one for long-range operations and another design focusing on more fighter-bomber specialised missions. As a result, both designs were presented by the contractors General Dynamics and McDonnell Douglas, in which General Dynamics would later develop the F-111 Aardvark and McDonnell Douglas would later develop the F-4 Phantom II for the US Navy's version of the fighter-bomber-interceptor aircraft. Later, the Phantom would be one of the most successful airframes of its time and proved to be a very capable fighter-bomber-interceptor design, but it had issues. First, it had a short flight time, meaning it could not go on long missions. Secondly, it had poor low-speed performance and had poor compression, maneuverability performance and once passing Mach 1. Additionally, the aircraft was expensive to operate and build, with a cost of around $2 million in 1965, with operational costs reaching over $900 an hour. Adjusted to today's inflation, that would result in $20 million or $9,000 an hour. After a lot of events that promoted the production of the new attack aircraft, in May 1970 the United States Air Force would order a new, detailed and modified request of the AX program, originally made in 1966 to develop a new attack aircraft to deal with the threat of huge mechanized forces such as the Soviet armed forces. Through a lot of US Air Force requirements, one of the main armaments of this aircraft was a 30mm rotary cannon and a maximum speed of 490 miles per hour, with addition of an airframe of a flying tank. This would lead us to the aircraft we now know today as the A-10. As apparent, the A-10 was made for conventional 20th century aerial missions that required another conventional force to be against. But unfortunately, this is simply not apparent in modern conflicts, as more countries move to a more infantry-based porcupine strategy, which involves the extensive use of infantry-based arms like javelin systems, cornet systems, RPGs, manpads, cheap anti-armor, and anti-air systems in general. But despite this, its obvious cons, the A-10 has its pros that can outweigh the cons in some scenarios, in such that the methods the A-10 utilizes, such as low speed and low flight altitudes, allow for more lengthy combat missions that ensures the destruction of enemy forces, like we're seeing in recent conflicts in the Persian Gulf, where the A-10 is being used to sink enemy speedboat swarms using its infamous GAU-8 Avenger gun. Secondly, it is a highly survivable and rugged design because of its titanium plating around the cockpit, also known as the titanium bathtub, which makes it extremely effective in high threat environments against small arms and manpads. Overall, the A-10 is very cost effective as the US does not want to waste tens of millions of dollars on flying expensive stealth aircraft over the Persian Gulf and hostile airspace, as the A-10 was made to be very affordable, easily maintained, and cheap to produce. Another thing it excelled in recent conflict is its cost-effective interception of drones over the Persian Gulf, which provides a cheaper and more sustainable option compared to using expensive interceptor systems such as surface-to-air missiles, and again, very expensive stealth aircraft. In conclusion, while the A-10 has its obvious disadvantages, in specific scenarios, it still has its blatant advantages in modern combat through modernization. But do you think bringing the A-10 into the 2030s is a good thing? Or is the US just bringing outdated airframes into the Air Force? Comment your ideas below on what you think on this topic. All of our sources of information will be listed down in the description, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.